Okay, we just left Jacky Howard's. We're going to be putting a 3.5 ton air handler with a 13 SEER air conditioner outside. The outdoor units out in the country, we won't be putting locking caps on it, but it does need to go up on our little 3-inch risers. We're also going to replace the whip on that. Should pretty much take care of the outdoor unit. The indoor unit is in an attic, so we have to go in through the attic fan. We pull 4 screws out, remove the grill drops down, and the fan is on hinges, so it lifts straight up. Be careful with it. Being this is in an attic, it needs to have a walkway, which this one kind of does. Being it's out in the country, we're not going to build a new walkway, but it does have a walkway and it does have a platform in front of it. We'll count that. We need to wire in a light upstairs, put it on a light switch, put it close to where that attic fan is so it can be turned on as we get up there. That's a code requirement. We're going to put a secondary pan underneath the unit. It'll be then have a safety overflow switch on the pan. The secondary drain off of the air handler is also going to have a safety overflow switch on it. So we're going to have 2 and then a primary drain. Another reminder is this is an air handler. Air handlers are typically negative pressure, so it requires a P-trap on the drain line. Being it's in an attic, we also put a freestat, a clamp-on freestat on the suction line. That way, if that suction line gets too cold, it shuts off the air conditioner outdoors. We don't want to kill the red with it. We want to kill Y, or the high fan speed, and the outdoor condenser. The outdoor condenser is really the only thing we need to kill with that. We don't need to really kill the Y. We want to kill the condenser and keep the fan blowing so it gets that coil back up to temperature, and then it'll continue running and keep the house cool. But the real primary reason behind this is so that we don't get a block of ice up in the attic and then it overflows the drain pan and then we've ruined a ceiling. The safety overflow switches, on the other hand, are the same also as a condensate pump. They need to kill the R, or the red, the 24 volts to the thermostat. They shut the entire system down if it's stopped up with water. That's pretty much the basics of this one. There's going to be some sheet metal work to do. It all needs to be insulated with a minimum of R8. The return wasn't insulated, so it's going to also be insulated with R8 on the return side. There's a filter grill in the ceiling that'll stay the same. And then you're going to be hooking up to ductboard. Ductboard, you can slide your sheet metal inside of it, and then it needs to be taped and sealed. I don't like working with ductboard. It's a pain, but we can build a transition onto it. Just got to be careful not to crush the ductboard. The other request she had is prices on registers, and I'll need to return on Wednesday and look at them. Putting this air handler up into the attic, a lot of times you need to pull the blower and pull the A coil, and then everything only weighs about 15-20 pounds. If you try and put that air handler up in one solid piece, you're going to have a big issue there. Also, extreme caution. This has blown-in insulation. We'll be using a torch in the attic. We have to be extremely careful, not only to keep from catching the house on fire, but also we don't want to get those particles inside of our suction lines in the attic. Eventually we're going to buy into the ProPress for these jobs. We have a ProPress, we just don't have the correct jaws for it, and then there will be no soldering in the attic whatsoever. We could look at the shark bite fittings and see if they work on this one. If you guys want to get those, if they have them at Johnstone, that way there's no soldering in the attic at all. That wouldn't break my heart at all. But if you put those in, the rings inside those, just like with the ProPress for HVAC, have to be lubricated. So you'll need to put oil on the rings before you slide them over. Again, this is just one we want to make darn sure with that torch in that attic we're very careful. Thanks.